Welcome to Drawing with the Rig. Today we're going to draw Iron Man with the mask. We'll do Robert later. Let's start with the underdrawing here. This is the construction of the piece that I used. I had to play with the hand a little bit using my hand as a model. It's very, very common for professionals. But getting Iron Man exact is a science because literally they made so many costumes for this guy. Even in Iron Man 2, there were like 3 separate Iron Man costumes for this guy. The one that he flew into with the Stark Expo, Tony Stark Expo. The one from the briefcase. And of course the one that he went with War Machine at the end to fight the drones. But that's not abnormal. I mean, if you even go into the comic books, you will see that designs change from comic writer to comic writer, from comic creator to comic creator. And it's really like, my gosh, guys, can't you make up your mind? When indeed, through the years, they have made up their minds at various times, but it's like, on the whole, they just go all over the place with the designs. They really do. So, let me stop talking. Start drawing. Alright, so obviously, I've gone straight in for the shadow. As you can see, the light source is going this way. And so I am all that line work, I'm just knocking it right on out because I'll come back with the whiteout pen. Yeah, Iron Man takes a lot of study, especially now. Even before the movies, they were making the costume a whole lot more believable. Like, actually, this thing could actually work. So even back in the 90s, you know, you'd have to be kind of careful. But now they've actually made suits that can move. I mean, possibly all the parts and servos and stuff like that are kind of fake, made of plastic or whichever. But they look like they can work. And as you can see, one of the things that makes this thing so troublesome if you're trying to do it exact is the lines, because this is a machine. And yes, I drew Iron Man a few times to see if I can't get the exactness of it. Man, it wasn't easy. Because like I said, you go with one suit, then you go with another, then you go with another, and I'm like going, which one is the right one? Let's just go with this one. And even I did a few tweaks. So let's see how much we can do in one sitting. And one thing that had to be done well, you can't just draw this face and get it right, because the placement of the eyes is special. The expression, the grim expression they have on there, can't just be thrown down. There's a distance between the nose and the mouth that must be honored to get the effect. How big the forehead is, that has to be taken into consideration. All right, let me. Not like Captain America. And yes, I practiced drawing straight lines about 200 times, but drew about like 200, maybe even 300. I'm practicing my organic curves. The Iron Man story Extremis, which they did make into a motion comic as well. That Iron Man was impeccably made, absolutely gorgeous. Again, before the movies, they did it really well, and it was, I think that had like 2 suits in there, or 3 actually. But I'm like going, good Lord, this is where I'm coming from. You got one guy who's doing this without a company. He's doing it on his own to make all these certs. As he said in Iron Man 3, you gotta have a hobby. And I'm like going, this technology is way beyond, it's in the future. And you're telling me one genius guy has the machinery and the time while he's fighting bad guys with the Avengers to do all this? One suit is enough. I mean, really? Oh no. Okay, I went over a finger. So okay. Oh, then there's how they set up the fingers. Or the palm. Really interesting how they did that. And the trick is to, okay, this is like a real hand, right? So it's like to make it look like it's comfortable as a hand, yet it has all these parts, and make all the parts come together to where it looks correct, where it looks right. I'll be the first one to tell you that's not easy. All right. All right. I really salute, one, the creators of this character, Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, his brother, Don Heck, and of course Jack Kirby. I salute all of those for creating this complex character before Robert Downey Jr. ever touched it. But I also lift up the creative team at Marvel and Disney, who made this thing move, who made this thing kind of real. Not easy. I would have a tough time doing it. See? Darn, I didn't do the fingers right exactly. But it looks fine. It looks right. These joints. Ugh. Gosh. And they're coming at you. So. All right. Huh? All right. For this, the construction drawing was massively important. Because like I said, you have all these parts, but they have to work. And they have to work as a whole. The construction drawing helps it very much for it to actually work as a whole. So I concentrated on this looking like a hand. And I gotta tell you, the more parts I put, the tougher it is to actually. Oh! Okay. Finger goes like that. I gotta re-aim it because of the way that was. Okay, so joint. All right then. Woo! This is one of those that I would lapse if I could, time lapse. Still learning how to do this, guys. doing the video thing. I would prefer to have this being time-lapse and explain what's going on. But as is, can't. But I think it's turning out okay. Don't have a platform that I can turn sideways at present. Not for this purpose. It's got to stay still for the camera. But I really wish you probably see my hand going all over the place. That's because I prefer to be turning this platform, which is also a common for professionals. Well, I should have treated this the way I'm going to treat Hulk. With the Hulk, I'm going to do the entire body and look at the anatomy, particularly the muscles. I know everybody thinks of muscles when they think of the Hulk, but there's also a skeleton under there. We're going to be looking at that. That'll take longer than the others, but I'm really looking forward to it. I've drawn the figure in excess of 5,000 times in the last 2 years, and that's low in comparison to many others in the industry. The reason I mention that is because anatomy is essential for this. Okay, let's put this arm here, and it looks like this is as far as I'm going to be able to go for this video right here. Woo! Oh, Iron Man is so, I'd want to have the lines clean like this, but they're a little bit rough here. Either way, all right, that is part 1 of Iron Man. Part 2 coming up soon.